Okay guys, so this is the independent practice. Hopefully you did it last night. This is for page 35, 36, 1 through 11 odd. Okay, the answers are kind of long, so bear with me. Let me show them to you first. The answers were in the back of the book, so you could always have done that too, but I'm showing you anyways. Okay, the answer for number 1 is 12 ounce for 1 steak. Number 3 is 5.1 gallons for 1 container. Number 5, Evan drove the fastest. He drove 2.3 minutes per lap. Number 7, the answer is $4 per mile. Number 9 is 268 miles. And part B of that is about 2 hours. And the problem with number 11, what she did wrong, was unit rate has a denominator of 1. And she didn't do that. And so the final answer is $108 for 6 weeks. Becomes down or simplifies to $18 per week. All right, let's get started. I'm going to go a little faster with this because I'm assuming at this point you understand the process. I might explain a couple things here and there, but for the most part, I hope you're getting it. It really is about finding GCF, right? Breaking groups down. So here we go. Number 1. I'm using pencil, so don't make that same mistake again. All right. We have 72 ounces, 6 steaks. Okay, so you can't see what I just did. All right, here we go. Here's the idea. We have 6 steaks, and altogether it's 72 ounces. So the question is, how many ounces per steak? By the way, as we do this, if there are words you don't understand, by all means, please use a dictionary, look it up. Okay, don't just sit there and think it's steaks or something. I mean, I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just saying, if you're not aware of a word, you've never seen it before, please look it up. Okay, we all got to learn at some point. There's words that I still don't know. At my age, I still look up things in the dictionary. It's not a bad thing to do. Okay, all right. So the thing with unit rates is you don't need to find the GCF. Okay, because one way or another you're going to divide by the denominator. So what I'm saying is the denominator has to be 1, and the only way you can change a number into 1 with division is to divide by the number itself. Okay, I've said that in the other 2 lessons, and I'm saying it now. Okay. Now, ratios, rates are not fractions, but they behave like fractions. Okay? So they might follow some of the same rules. So you can consider this a denominator, right? With a fraction, whatever you do with the denominator, you have to do the same thing to the numerator. Okay? 72 divided by 6. I could show you the division, but trust me, it's 12. Okay? You really, again, I said this before, but if you don't know how to divide, please look up on YouTube how to divide. This is something you really need to know how to do. Okay? And there's your answer. All right? 12 ounces per steak. Let me write out the sentence just so you get into the habit of that. I will ask for this on the quiz. 12 ounces per steak. And yes, I'm going to bring out the highlighters. 12 ounces per steak. By the way, if you hear screaming, it's my neighbors outside have kids, and they're just going nuts outside playing with their friends. So, hey, let them have fun. All right, that is number 1. Number 3. The results, well, hold on. Marcella divided 40.8 gallons of paint among 8 containers. How much paint is in each container? All right. 40.8 gallons of paint. .8 gallons of paint, and there are 8 containers. You know, if I was really fancy at this point, I'd cue in a picture of a paint can and all that, but it's just me, a pencil, paper, and a camera. Trying to keep it simple here. All right, so we have, if you can imagine, 8 containers, right? They all have paint. If you measure the paint, you know it's this much. So the question is, how much is it per container? All right. Again, we want a unit rate. How much is it for 1 container? Right? Each container means you want 1 container. That means you're going to divide by 8. Okay. Now, This is assuming you know how to divide with decimal numbers, using divide decimal numbers, excuse me. All right, I'm going to show you this because you might have forgotten, so let me give you a quick reminder. The dividend is 40.8. That goes on the inside. The divisor is 8. All right, first thing I would tell you when we get to chapter 3 and do this, the decimal point, make sure you write it right above. Now, after you do that, everything else is, you should have seen this already. It's just simple division. Look, can you make groups of 8 from 4? No. Can you make groups of 8 from 40? Well, of course. How many? 8 times what? You know, groups of 8. How many groups of 8 gives you 40? 8 times 5. 5 groups of 8 give you 40, right? You write it down, you subtract, you get nothing. You bring down the next digit. Okay. How many groups of 8? How many groups of 8 do you need to get 8? Well, you need one group, right? One group. Okay. So the answer is 5.1 gallons. And we'll keep it simple. I'm not going to add the paint part. But again, as a sentence, 5.1 gallons per container. So far, so good, I hope. Again, the advantage of doing the videos here is you can rewind it, you can speed it up, do what you need to do, right? I said this, I've been saying this all week now, but let me say it again. If you got them all wrong, that's okay. I hope you're watching this video and really looking at what I'm doing. Look at what you did. What did you do wrong? Maybe you subtracted wrong. Maybe you divided wrong. And that's okay. You made a mistake. It happens. At least you tried. You will remember this more. Okay? Now, if you didn't try the homework at all and you're just copying the notes, the notes aren't effective like that. I mean, they still help a little bit, but really, you really got to do the math. Okay? Anyways, the results of a car race are shown. Determine who drove the fastest. Explain. All right. Number 5 is going to be a little difficult only because you have, let me just show you what the problem looks like. You have 3 people. You have laps and times, right? Laps, how many times they went around the track and how fast it took them to go around that track, right? So we have 3 people. We have cut right. I hope I'm saying this right. Okay. The question is, who drove the fastest, right? Now, you got to know how to set this up. Will laps be the denominator or will time be the denominator? Right? To figure out how fast someone went around the track, you want to know how long it was, the time per track, right? Time per track. Yeah? So it sounds to me that the time should be the numerator and laps should be the denominator. Okay? Time and then laps. Right? Because again, it would be minutes per lap. Minutes per lap. So we're trying to figure out who went the fastest per lap. All right? Now, here we go. Cutright did, let me write the words first, minute, lap. I know it's abbreviated, but you get the idea. He did 84 minutes. In 84 minutes, he went around the track 35 times. Okay? The trick is, how fast did he go? How fast was one lap? Right? You're going to have to divide by 35. And guys, honestly, if you didn't cover division with decimal numbers or division in general, this is going to be hard, but stick with me. I'm going to show you how to do it real fast. Okay? This will be the dividend. This will be the divisor. All right. Let me highlight it just for the sake of argument. 35, 35. 84. 84. Okie dokie. Whew, whew, whew. All right, let's look at this. We're making groups of 35, right? Can we make groups of 35 from 8? No. Can we make groups of 35 from 84? Yes. So our first digit's going to go somewhere here, above the 4. Okay? But now the question is, well, how many groups of 35 can I make out of 84? All right, trust me here. This is what's going to happen. You ready? Look at the first digit. How many groups of 3 can you make from 8? How many groups of 3 can you make from 8? Now, because I know my times tables, I'm going to say 2. Now, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But let's try it out. Then it's just times tables. 2 times 5, 10. Carry that one right there. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. All right. We have 14 left. We don't have enough to make another group. So what's going to happen is, and I'll explain this later when we get to chapter 3, but what's going on is you're going to add a decimal point. That decimal point is saying, hey, we're going to have to cut this up into groups. We're going to have to cut this up into pieces. All right? So you add a 0. Now it's 140. Okay. I can hear some of you panicking. Take a deep breath. Do the same thing you did before. Can you make groups of 35 from 1? No. How about from 14? No. Yes. You're only going to put one digit here. One digit only. Okay. So let's do it this thing. Let's do what we just did earlier. First digit. How many groups of 3 can you make from 1? None. What about 14? How many groups of 3 can you make from 14? Okay. I have 3, 6. That's 2 groups. 9 is 3 groups. 4 is, if I have 4 groups, that's 12. Let me try 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Carry the 2. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. Okay. Normally I'd say keep going until you have 0 as a remainder, but we got lucky. But if you get something that keeps going on and on and on, you eventually have to stop. But for right now, we got lucky. All right. So for him, for cut right, we did 2.4 minutes per lap. Okay, one down. We have 2 more to go. It'll be the same idea. I know it's not hard, but it is a lot of work. You can do this. Take your time. Do it right. All right, we just did cut right. Let's do Evans. Okay, he did, again, we're doing minutes per lap. Evans did 96.6 minutes. And in those minutes, he did 42 laps. Okay, I apologize. You can't see what I just did. Let me back it up. There you go. Let me read it again. Minutes per lap. In 96.6 minutes, he went 42 laps. Okay, now keep in mind, this is a car going around a track, okay? Vroom, 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 vroom. All right, how many minutes per lap did this guy accomplish, I guess? How fast was he going? We want the denominator to be 1. We're going to divide by 42. Same thing up here. All right, same thing. This is the dividend. This is the divisor. All right, let me change it. My pencil needs to be sharpened, but whatever. Same thing. Where do we put that first digit? And by the way, put the decimal point right there. Don't forget that decimal point. Give me. Can we make groups of 42 from 9? No. 96? Yes. All right, but now you're like, well, how many groups of 42 fit in 96? Okay. Here's what you got to do. Do the same thing. Focus on that. 4. We're making groups of 4. How many groups of 4 can you make from 9? Oh, 2. Okay. Put the 2 above right there. Okay. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 6 minus 4 is 2. 9 minus 8 is 1. We have 12 left. We don't have enough for another group. We're good. We bring down that 6. Okay, same thing. Still making groups of 4. Can we make groups of 4 from 1? No. Can we make groups of 4 from 12? Yes. How many? 3. Right? 4 with 1 group, 8 with 2 groups, 12 with 3 groups. Now, it could work. If it doesn't work, we can always erase it. No, not a big deal. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 4, 12. Whew, okay, it worked out. Okay. This guy did a lap. He finished a lap in 2.3 minutes. So for him, the sentence is 2.3 minutes per lap. Right? Okay. One more to go. We have Loza. I think that's how you say it. Same thing. Minutes per lap. All right, this guy, in 102.6 minutes, he drove 38 laps. He finished 38 laps, excuse me. All right, 102.6 minutes per lap. Or sorry, for every 38 laps. That didn't sound right, did it? But you get what I'm saying. We want the common denominator to be 1. We're going to divide by 38, because that's how it works. Again, if we have one big group of 38 and we want groups of 1, that means we have to open up 38 separate groups, and each one will be 1. Divide this by 38. Now look, guys, I could use a calculator to figure this out, but you need to see the work. You should know how this works, okay? So again, dividend divisor. Okay, not as hard. Don't freak out. There are other ways to do this with estimating and rounding, but let's not go there yet. Okay, the hardest part of division is knowing where to put that first digit. Do we put it in the ones place, the tens place, the hundreds place, the tens place? That makes a difference. So here we go. Can we make groups of 38 from 1? No. From 10? No. From 2? Yes. That means your first digit will go, and I'm going to use a highlighter this time. Let's see, I can write right above it. Your first digit will go in that yellow spot, right above the 2. Okay? Might as well highlight the 2 too. The 2 as well. All right, now let's do what I said earlier. We're making groups of 3. Can you make groups of 3 from 1? No. What about 10? Yes. How many groups of 3 can you make from 10? You can make 3 groups of 3. I hope. Let's find out if it works out. 3 times 8? Again, this is just times tables, really, if you think about it. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. I think I did something wrong. 3 times 24, 3 times 3 is 9. No, that works out. This is too much. We can't take away 102. Sorry, we can't take away 114 from 102. It doesn't work out. So you erase this, and instead of 3, you're going to use one number lower. You can't make 3 groups. Let's try 2 groups, see if that works. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Let's see what we have. Okay, 2 minus 6, it's not going to work. You're going to need to regroup. Okay? This is a 0, so what's going to happen? You're going to have to regroup from here, right? You take 1 from this becomes 0, this becomes 10, and then the 10 becomes 9. Guys, I apologize, but this is division. Okay? 12 minus 6 is 6. 9 minus 7 is 2. We have 26. We don't have enough for another group, so we're good. You bring down the 6. Alright, same thing. We're making groups of 3. Can we make groups of 3 from 2? No. Can we make groups of 3 from 26? Yes. How many? Now, you're going to say 8, right? Because 8 times 3 is 24. Let's try it out. I think it's not going to be 8, but hey, let's try it out anyways. 8 times 8 is 64. And I'm going to erase this one. So 8 times 8 is 64. Put a 6 there. 8 times 3 is 24. Plus 6 is 29. Nope. It's not going to work. Now, how did I know it wasn't going to work? Guys, with experience, you're going to... Here, let me tell you why I right away didn't know. I knew it wasn't going to work. I said 8, right? 8 times 3 is 24. And it does work. It's less than 26. But then I look at this, my answer is going to be 8 times 8, which is 64. I'm going to have to add 6 to whatever I get for this. So right away I knew it's not going to work, because 24 plus 6 is 30. So let's try 7. Let's see if it works. 7 times 8, 56. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 5, 26. Okay, that works. 2.7 minutes per lap. And I'm going to write that out. 2.7 minutes per lap. All right, we have 2.7, 2.3, and the other one I believe was 2.4. Evans has the best lap. Right? Why? Because it's the smallest number. Again, you're like, how does that work? Shouldn't it be the biggest number? Look, when we're talking about races, like if you're in a competition with a race, you're running, driving, swimming. But let's just talk about driving. If one car can finish a mile in 2 seconds, and another car can finish the mile in 5 seconds, you're not going to say the 5-second car is faster. You're going to say, hey, the one who finished it earlier is fastest, right? So this is the fastest. It took less time. All right. Evans was the fastest. Why? Because 2.3 is less than 2.4, and that's less than 2.7. There's your proof, right? 2.3 is the fastest time. And in speed, the lower the number, the better, okay? I don't know if you write this down. For races, lowest time is fastest. Don't forget that. All right, we're up to number 7. You thought we'd never get there, right? Number 7. Joshua's cousin pledged $12 for a charity walk. Okay, the word pledge means his cousin promised $12 for a charity walk. If Joshua walked 3 miles, how much did his cousin pay per mile? Okay, that phrase, pay per mile. Pay per mile. That pretty much is telling you it's money. Because when you pay something, you're dealing with money, obviously, right? Pay, that per is a fraction line, per mile. Okay. So the cousin promised $12, and the cousin walked 3 miles. So $12 for 3 miles. How does this work out? We need a unit rate. How much per mile? Right? Per mile. You divide by 3. Divide by 3. 12 broken up into 3 groups means each group is 4. So $4 per mile. And there we go. $4 per mile. Okay, we're up to number 9. 9 has 2 parts, so let's be careful here. Let's make sure we do this right. Okay, I have to get another pencil that's sharp because I like sharp pencils. That's just me. The Shanghai maglev train is one of the fastest trains in the world, traveling at about 2,144 miles in 8 hours. Or a different way to say it is 2,144 miles in 8 hours. Okay, we have miles per hour. The question A asks, how many miles does it travel in 1 hour? Well, here we go. We want to know miles per hour. And it tells us this train goes 2,144 miles in 8 hours. And we want to know, like I already said it, how many miles in 1 hour. Okay. We're going to divide by 8. We knew this by now, right? Whatever the denominator is, that's what we're going to divide by. Do the same thing here. All right. Ooh, boy. Okay. Take your time, do this right. We're making groups of 8. Can we make groups of 8 from 2? No. From 21? Yes. Your first digit will go right here. Remember, you learned in elementary school, each place value can only be occupied by one digit. Okay? Now, how many groups of 8 can you make from 21? Well, 2. Because you have 3 groups, you can have 24. You don't have enough for 24. You only have enough for 21. So, 8 times 2 is 16. You subtract. 21 minus 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's 5. I know I didn't regroup this time. But I think you understand what I did with that. All right? Bring down the 4. Same thing. How many groups of 8 can you make from 54? Not 7, not 6. By all means, please use your times table chart if you need it. 8 times 6 gives me 48. I subtract. I bring down the 4. How many groups of 8 can I make from 64? 8. And again, this isn't me being super smart. It's just me knowing my times tables. So please start memorizing your times tables. All right. 268 miles per hour. This isn't even a complete sentence. I know you can't see it. Let me move it back. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. All right. That's part A. Let's see part B. What does part B want us to do? The distance between Columbus, Ohio and New York City is about 560 miles. About how many hours would it take to travel between the two cities? Okay. Oof. What are we doing here? You know what? I'm going to draw a picture because I want to make sure you understand what's going on here. We have Columbus, Ohio. It's a location. It's a city. And it's going to New York City. New York City. All right. The question is, how long is this? Is it? What's the distance? Right? How many miles is the question? Right? Well, actually, we do know the miles. The question is, see what happens when you don't read the problem correctly? We know the miles. It is 560 miles. About. Okay. So we have this super duper train that goes really fast. Okay? Now, this train goes 268 miles per hour. Okay? We're going to do something a little different. Okay? We want to know, okay, if in 1 hour it goes this much, how long would it take to go to 560? This is what we don't know. How many hours? We don't know. Now, to keep this simple, what I would do, honestly, in 1 hour it goes this far, right? Watch what I'm going to do. 1 hour, 268. What about 2 hours? How far would it go in 2 hours? Well, that's double this, right? 1 times 2 gives you 2, right? What happens if I multiply this by 2? 2 times 8, 16. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Okay. 536. You know, I'm looking at this. This is pretty close to that. Okay? Now, you could be specific. Now, how do you get specific? I could have divided this by that, and I would have gotten 2 points something, whatever, right? In fact, if you want, I can do it right here. I can give you an exact number. I know it's not asking for it, but I'm going to do it anyways. We already know it's going to be about 2. 2 times 6, 13. You subtract. All right. Oh, now here's the situation. You see what's going on? I don't have enough for another group. I'm going to add a 0 here. And then add another 0 here. And then we're going to get some number. But you know what? If I give this kind of problem to you on a quiz, I will accept an estimate. This is pretty close. So the answer is about 2 hours. Because that's pretty close. 536 is pretty close to 560. So about 2 hours is good enough for me. All right. If you know how to get there, that's all I'm interested in. Can you go from this to this? Yeah. Just double it. And then triple it if you needed to. All right. Let's do number 11 and then we'll be done. Sorry guys, it's going to be a long video again. But you see, I cover a lot of detail because I have to. Okay? All right. Let me show this to you. And yes, the answers are there, so what? Ugh. Julie wrote that the rate, $108 in 6 weeks, as a unit rate. Find her mistake and correct it. Okay. She wrote $108 for every 6 weeks. It's the same as $54 per 3 weeks. Okay, that's not a unit rate. A unit rate, the denominator has to be 1. So let's do this correctly. This is number 11. $108, 6 weeks. We want to know, well, how much did this person make in a week? Right? So how much did she make in a week? Now we have a unit rate. This is going to be a unit rate. How much for 1? We're going to divide by 6. Do the same thing for the numerator. Right? Same thing. I can't make a group of 6 from 1, but from 10, yes. So I can make one group of 6 from 10. 6 times 1 is 6. I subtract. 10 minus 6 is 4. Now guys, sometimes you don't have to regroup. If you see it just as a simple subtraction problem like that, you can do it in your head. Really, don't make it more difficult. I mean, I could see somebody trying to, oh, okay, I'm going to regroup. That becomes 0, that becomes 10. Guess what you just did? You took away 6 from 10 anyways. So sometimes take a step back. I'm going to erase that because it looks sloppy. Just take a step back and look at the big picture. 10 minus 6 is 4. Bring down the 8. How many groups of 6 can you make from 48? 8. All right. So this person made $18 per week. And that, my friends, is independent practice.